So we're gonna just bring this here. Hopefully it doesn't get disconnected. Well, I do have that mirror. All right. So today we're talking about ancient civilizations while getting massage. With your host, Omega Rico the Sultan. That's me. And then we got Juan Carlos Gallo. What's your nickname?
JC Fractal.
JC Fractal. True. So JC Fractal here, he is a expert in virtual reality and augmented reality. He's been working on that for around 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And there's not many people that are in that field. So here in the city, he's the go-to person for that. So tonight we're gonna help him out. He just went to karate class
Super sore.
and he's super sore. And then meanwhile, we're gonna talk about ancient civilizations because that is his interest, and he's gonna start a show soon.
Yeah, YouTube channel.
A YouTube channel
called Megalithic Traveler.
Megalithic Travelers. So I'm guessing you got inspired by the channels Bright Insight with Brian, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, Bright Inside with Jimmy
Jimmy
Corsetti, I think is his last
Corsetti, yeah. And then Ryan Foster.
Brian Forster,
Forster.
who's been on Ancient Aliens.
Ancient Aliens.
Yeah, he's been everywhere.
Nice. So where does your show start? Like, where are you gonna start? Like, what are you like? What's it? What are you trying to find? You know, what's the truth? The truth about what?
Uh, there's basically there seems to be a civilization that is unknown, that is worldwide, that you find in Peru, in Egypt, um, in different parts of the world, and it seems to be like part of maybe who built the pyramids. Like if you go to Egypt,
Yeah.
you find stuff in Egypt that looks very similar to the stuff you see in Peru. And supposedly Egypt and Peru are not related in any way.
Right.
So why is it that there's stuff in Peru that looks just like the stuff in Egypt when supposedly there was no connection whatsoever? Um, so that's a big hint, a big clue that there's something going on that regular history doesn't identify.
Right.
So
I think that's like a big topic also. It's in itself. Like, there's so much history that has been discovered, ancient history, and none of the books are getting updated, and none of the historians or institution is like actually digging into this. It's mostly independent journalists and researchers, independent archaeologists also, that are really digging into this, and then publicizing it. Because there has been some books, right? There's books of major archaeologists that describe things like Atlantis and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
there is, but it's all kind of it's not the mainstream.
right.
It's basically
They don't teach it at school.
they don't teach it at school. Uh, Christopher Columbus discovered America. There was no
Right.
Europe contact with America prior to Christopher Columbus. Maybe the Vikings supposedly did come,
Right.
but the Vikings, it's kind of a new thing, and maybe they only came to North America. Um, but this goes deeper than that because we're talking about evidence in the makers of the pyramids. Whoever made the pyramids might have been related to whoever did some of the stuff in Peru.
Right.
And if that's the case, we're talking about thousands of years before Christopher Columbus. So this is a totally different level of time, way before Christopher Columbus, way before the Vikings. Something was going on.
Yeah. What is the date? It's 4,000 years ago or 4,000 BC.
So
That is normally dated. The pyramids.
the pyramids supposedly were done around 3000 BC.
3,000 BC.
Like,
Okay.
yeah, like 3000 to 2000 BC. Um,
Give me 1 second. I tell you, charged it. Oof. It's kind of hot, huh?
A little bit.
So, as we were saying, all right then. Well, that's a lot of information. Let me resume for those that couldn't hear us. Basically, we're talking about how the pyramids, as well as a lot of structures out of all the structures in Egypt, the pyramids are the only ones that don't have hieroglyphics. And then that we think that it's because the Egyptians thought their pyramids were too holy of a place to write on. And meanwhile, there's also other artifacts that are the same era as the pyramids that were sketched on by this is a trigger point. If I press it, it does hurt, but if I release it, you're gonna feel better. You ready? Just breathe.
Oh, okay. Stop it. Okay.
Think about it, I'm just pressing it. I'm barely pressing it. It's there for a reason.
Ooh.
It needs to be pressed. Okay, look, that's the least I could press.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's not hurting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely perhaps two different eras in the Egyptian stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's some really ancient stuff that doesn't really have hieroglyphs and looks different, and then there's the other stuff that is full of hieroglyphs, and that stuff might be what's younger,
Right.
you know, quote unquote, you know. So yeah, there seems to be two different eras in Egypt, and what's ironic is that the older stuff is the most precise, is the most biggest, is the most like impressive. The older stuff.
Impressive.
Yeah, so it's almost like, and if you think about it, supposedly technology gets better with time,
Right.
but in Egypt, the older stuff was better than the newer stuff. So
Right.
it's like what's happening?
And
you know?
that's what we call that. Oh, the word escapes me. It's kind of like a paradox, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paradox. Yeah, totally. So, and then the other thing to keep in mind is that there's the biblical flood.
Yes.
It's in every single culture in the world, the myth of the flood.
Yeah.
And if you look at the geological record, 12,000 years ago was the end of the last ice age.
Yeah.
And at that time, there were huge fluctuations in temperature throughout the world, and there were disasters. There was literally like a bunch of sudden changes in temperature, sudden changes in sea levels. So if there was a civilization 12,000 years ago, it could have been destroyed by one of these global catastrophes, and that could be what Atlantis was, you know?
So one question I have about that is, let go of your leg. Thanks. One question I have about that is, how come there was only some buildings and not a lot of buildings? Like if we if we let all the skyscrapers, rot for, let's say, 1,000 years. Okay, sure, there's some that will be completely eradicated, but there's some that will stand, right?
Yeah.
So there isn't the oldest, or okay, there are some ancient ruins, ancient civilization ruins that we've discovered that are definitely about 12,000 or maybe more.
Yeah.
Like Göbekli Tepe. Do you remember how?
Yeah, go back to, yeah.
So Göbekli Tepe, uh, it, it's supposed to. So it's still very, even though it's ancient, it's not like the megalithic still, because it's actually very like caveman.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very. It's not technologically advanced.
Yeah.
It's rudimentary. So sure, there was other civilizations, but like what happened to their buildings? Were there a lot of them? Were there a lot of people?
The thing is,
Were there even people? Maybe they're not even like.
the thing is, the buildings might be there. It's just that we're confusing them with something else. Like for example, when you go to Jerusalem,
Yeah.
you know the wall, the Wailing Wall.
Yeah.
You know that underneath the Wailing Wall, if you go under, there's giant stones. There's giant megalithic stones underneath the Wailing Wall.
No way.
Yeah, they're some of the biggest ones in the world, and they're underneath, at the bottom of the Wailing Wall.
For
So
real?
there's ruins that are there, but all that's left is the foundations.
I see.
So how old is that foundation at the Wailing Wall? Is it 12,000 years ago? Is that part of an ancient? And maybe that's why the people in Jerusalem think that place is holy, because it's part of an ancient building that was destroyed. So and then all over Italy there's polygonal masonry walls all over
Like.
that
Wow.
are semi-destroyed. So maybe all that stuff is part of that ancient civilization, but it's just not identified as such. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard recently about this Italian stuff.
There's a lot in Italy. A lot. Like I'll send you a video, a great video. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's like a really great video on these polygonal stones all over Italy, for example. They're also in Japan.
They're also in Japan.
There's a lot of them in India.
Okay, here's one that you may not have heard about. In Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, we know that Costa Rica is like a place where people really want to go.
Yeah.
Right. It's very popular places for people that are in their spiritual journeys to end up at.
I want to go. I haven't gone there.
Yeah. So something recent that was discovered was that there is 100% a sunk city on the coast of Costa Rica.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I want to check it out.
So that's right. That's like a new thing. Okay, but additionally, there's this stones that are like round stones that are just completely round,
Yeah.
and they're buried all over Costa Rica.
Oh, is that the spheres, right?
Yeah, the spheres.
Yeah.
So
Those are weird.
those are completely just spherical stones. Maybe were another material. The purpose is unknown. They were buried, probably not buried on purpose. Maybe they were placed and then they got buried by time.
Yeah.
Maybe the material turned into rock from just like ages. So that's a possibility as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a fossil, actually, of whatever was there as well. Right?
Yeah.
So, is this alright?
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's just a side note, you know, not really. Okay, so what I was saying is that I do think there's a high possibility of alien contribution here, because these buildings, they seem to have a very particular purpose, and they seem to be related to also the stars, right? Because they're aligned in a very precise
Yeah.
location and pointing to a very particular set of stars, Orion's belt, and also they also interact with electromagnetic field, the ionosphere of the Earth. You know, something that Nikola Tesla was working on, which is actually where a lot of energy is stored, and that energy can actually provide Wi-Fi and power, electricity to everyone. Would it be tapped? Ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of information thanks to ancient aliens on the technology that's in the pyramids, that there's like a clear gate of some kind that opens, right, and shuts.
Yeah.
What is that gate called, and how do the institutional archaeologists explain it?
Wait, which gate are you talking about?
There's like a gate in one. There's like a hole that points to up, and it's like there's a gate that supposedly could open and close, kind of like a gauge.
Where?
In the pyramid, in the Great Pyramid.
Ooh. I don't know about that.
You haven't seen the gate? It's like a trap door. It looks like a trap door. No, you don't recall it?
Maybe
Well, you know the theory of the sarcophagi that are black, that you saw yourself, that are actually battery power, like batteries, right? You heard of that.
Did they think that it was part of some sort of energy system or something?
Yeah. You know that, right? No?
Inside of the pyramids or inside of
Yeah, inside the pyramids, those black sarcophagi, right?
Well, there was some sarcophagi, but they took them out of the pyramids, I think.
But that's where they were.
Yeah, there
No,
was.
wait, yeah, the black ones, the ones that they say is for cows.
Oh, okay, but right, but those were not in the pyramids. Those were in the Serapeum.
Oh, where is that?
That's south of the pyramids.
South?
Yeah. It's a place called the Serapeum.
Serapeum. What is that place about?
It has these gigantic boxes,
Yeah?
and those are the ones that supposedly were there for sacred bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are batteries.
Well,
those are, from what I know, they can store electricity in them.
well, that's one theory for
Yeah.
their existence.
What's your theory that you know?
Oh man, I don't really know actually. What I
There's this kind of Iraqi batteries
Oh,
that
yeah,
existed.
the Iraqi batteries.
So these are basically the same but big, from, and then the same elements that make up the Iraqi batteries
yeah.
that power the batteries themselves, they were found. Traces were found in this sarcophagi. So that's pretty much,
Yeah.
like. So anyway, the Great Pyramid has like a chamber, and this chamber has a gate that points to the sky. So if this if the Great Pyramid,
Oh yeah, like right there. Yeah, like one apart.
if this Great Pyramid was some kind of power generator, right? It actually has like some exit towards the sky.
Yeah, the interior of the pyramids don't really make a lot of sense.
Unless it's this.
Unless it's something else. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you literally have to crawl in these holes, and then to go up to the main chamber, you have to go up this incline, but there's no stairs or anything. So it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, it's because it's like it's more like a machine.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's oh, that's great. I think a lot of these spaces inside the pyramids and all of that were probably for meditation, for like erasing your consciousness somehow, like using sound to raise your consciousness.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That kind of stuff.
Like acoustic stuff.
Yeah, like weird acoustic stuff, and like
Yeah,
ways to raise your vibration by being by meditating in these sacred quote unquote spaces.
actually, there's this guy I told you about, Matthias Stefano.
Oh yeah, I've seen him a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so he remembers all his past lives.
Yeah.
So he's able to explain all this stuff very easily.
You watched a lot of the Gaia,
Yeah.
right? I'm just now starting. You gotta recommend me which show in Gaia.
Just watch his show. That's the only good show.
That's the only show.
The other shows, you can't really make sense, like trust them. Like there's like Disclosure show where
Yeah.
a lot of people talk about aliens, and there's some stuff that is probably true, but they all talk about different. A lot of stuff is like ex-military people,
Right.
and they're talking about space programs and stuff like that. I mean, I only watched a couple episodes, so I don't really know.
Right.
But the most legit that I've seen is this guy, because
Yeah.
what he says tends to be like infallible. Like I can't logically, reasonably find a problem with it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. He does. It does, as fantastic as his story is, it might actually be true,
And it makes sense.
and it makes sense. Yeah.
So like his theories are like, whoa, that's so yeah, he's definitely a wild card in this whole thing, but
Yeah.
anyway, he explains that when he was he used to be a priestess, a Gnostic priestess,
Yeah.
and that's how he knows all the secrets, because basically he got trained in secrets.
Right.
He got
Ah, no wonder he remembers so many details about it then.
yeah, so he actually went through a bunch of rites
Yeah.
to be able to remember, probably. So he probably basically just actual magic
Mhm.
to keep his memories, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he says that back in Atlantis, they had it down how to use sound and vibration
Mhm.
in pools of water to do magic, basically.
Yeah.
to do outstanding things. So they will basically do like a mantra,
Yeah.
like Om or something in like a certain sequence,
Uh-huh.
and it will produce a wave, and then they'd be in some kind of acoustic echo room
Yeah.
that would like create this wave of sound,
Yeah.
like some kind of equation that would allow them to do certain things.
Yeah.
So your theory might be right, actually.
That's why. Yeah.
It might be that back when the pyramids were fully equipped, they would teleport you maybe somewhere by using your voice
Yeah.
or some kind of instrument.
I know Matthias has spent a lot of hours inside the pyramids, right? But I haven't watched all his content.
Yeah, he has a lot of content.
He has a lot of content.
Yeah.
He's explained a lot of different things,
Yeah, he's playing like
biology, and he's explaining all kinds of things all the time.
yeah. Right now, I just learned some new stuff from him just the other day about the reason why aliens don't really talk to us,
Oh yeah.
and it's because basically we're not really that interesting to talk to, because to them we are just the cells of the earth. So it's like if I went up to you and started talking to your cells,
Yeah.
they wouldn't really say much. Their dimension is just different.
Their dimension is different.
Yeah, they're in a different dimension. Like
Uh-huh.
our consciousness is not able to communicate with cells, like
Right.
unless we zap them or something. And then so they actually talk to the earth. So they do come to the earth, but they come to talk to the earth as a being.
Wow.
And the earth is actually able to communicate all of the humans' consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. So they can just reach the earth and then learn about our about the things that we do, kind of have interesting about us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
yeah, so maybe we're like ants, so then we will crawl on them, gigantic, and then they just like crush us from being there, right? So
that's scary. Getting crushed
yeah,
by a UFO.
so we're gonna do the last move, ultimate move, omega move. So it goes like this. We're gonna rotate around here. So we're gonna rotate around here. Alright. So you're basically gonna relax this area. Okay. And what you're gonna really open is you're gonna stretch out your chest. Don't overdo it. Just slowly let the natural curvature happen. Okay.
In what way?
I'm basically gonna lift up your chest.
Uh huh.
So here, hold my arm, and then hold this arm.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go, just like that. So breathe in. Awesome. And now, you don't have to stretch anymore. You just kind of let gravity take you down. I'll hold you the other half of the way. Let gravity take you down. Yeah. And that's the part that feels good, So let it all go.
Oh yeah. Okay. Just yeah. Just there in the middle for a minute.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You're still feeling here? Okay.
Still.
All right then.
Very cool.
Too much?
Well,
Okay, we'll do the same move from here. So, Homer. That's it. Just breathe into that space. You don't have to do it too hard. There you go. Perfect. Is that better?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just do a little bit of that.
All right. We always gotta go back to the basics. Basics. The ultimate moves. They can only go so far, but
Oh, it's just that. Just needed some workout in the middle of like a.
I got it. Ultimate move. Omega.
Oh wow! Oh shit! Oh wow! Oh, the big guns. That's good. Oh. It's like a. Oh wow! Oh shit! It's like getting buffed, like a car.
You are getting buffed. Ta-da! You might itch a little bit.
My what?
It might be itchy.
Itchy. Oh. That's fine.
Awesome. So we have now made it to the end of our session. So what do you gotta say about your experience at the Massage Party Palace, Sultan?
The massage party palace.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Today was the best possible time for me to come because I was so sore, man. I could barely walk, like yesterday.
When did you work out?
It was last Wednesday,
Oh shit!
but
Wow.
it lasted for like up until today and everything.
Oh, I'm glad you made it. That's the first step for anything, is being there, being present, making time
This is my first stop.
for massage.
Yeah, coming to your house.
Totally. Totally. Welcome to the Omega Station. And this is the Sultan's Palace.
Omega Station. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, because we broadcast here
Yeah.
Omega Consciousness.
What does Omega stand for?
Well, one of the most basic explanations is the Alpha and Omega is what Christianity talks about. God is the beginning and the end.
Right. There's
So-
there's a church in Miami called Alpha Omega.
So Omega is a Greek letter in the Greek alphabet, and it's just the O, but it also means end. Then there is in the Vedas, it turns out God says he's also the Omega, and it's basically a very unique vibration signature. If it's the end, you can make sense of the fact that it's like a ultimate form of something.
Mm-hmm.
So Omega Rico, me,
Yeah.
is the ultimate form of Rico. So there could be an Omega Juan Carlos, and that would be like your ultimate form.
Yeah.
And then the way that I got to that is like I kept upgrading myself with numbers, Rico 0.2, 2.0, 3, 4, 5, and then I just got to Omega when I hit 9, meaning that was the ultimate. And then after that, I didn't have to upgrade myself anymore. I was already at the last one, and the last one being ultimately upgradable.
Yeah.
So that's a story with
Like
the Omega Station.
you reach the infinity zone.
Exactly, like it's the end, but that doesn't mean that it's not transformational.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching Massage Party Palace.
Oh, I actually feel. Oh, good.